Hi, I'm Shah from India, and I'm going to give my perspective on the new age entrepreneurship. So, first of all, before the pandemic, we had a chief technology officer in every household who would be in the age group of 12 to 18 and taught everybody in the household about tech. During the pandemic, the same chief technology officer became the chief procurement officer who helped the household to adopt the new change. Think about it. Interestingly, this younger person has no tolerance for products. We are absolutely brutal. We are not nice about something not being nice to us, as we are exposed to global media and audiences. We are not limited to the knowledge of our past because we are the ones who are shocked to see our family members believe in nonsense on WhatsApp groups. This is the first generation who is skeptical about the older generation, but I know that all the older generations believe that the newer generation is completely messed up. And that is true for every generation of humans. But if you look at human history, the next generation has been drastically smarter than the previous generation. We are living in a world where products are spreading faster than ever through memes. Memes are small idea packets that travel quickly through space and time. We have been hyper connected, and if you don't create something which is not worthy of spreading, we are constantly not interested in you. We want to look cool on our social network. You can think of it this way. How many of you think that the this generation gets bored quickly than before? I think we get bored pretty often, and we hear things like, "You are so predictable." The reason is we are insanely good at pattern detection. Also, a reason why shows like Game of Thrones have become so famous. You never know what's coming. Another reason why short form video content is popular. You never know what's coming and you are hooked onto it. So, one of my friends recently left a company and I asked him, "Why did you leave, man?" And he was like, "The company was so uncle." I laughed out loud. And by the way, it's not about the age, it's about how quickly you are adapting to changes. A quick hack to figure out who an uncle is. You can figure out if they tap their phone this way or instead of this way. So I think that's a cool thing. But the whole point comes back to we are still operating with the principles of the past. And just by making things digital, we are doing nothing different than selling the shirts online. And I don't think we can win in the world we are entering into by the principles of past. Okay, so I want to ask you this simple question. Which goods and services do you think were more efficient 10 years ago? Think about think about it. The answer is almost nothing because humans have this tendency to become more efficient than 10 years ago. If you ask this question to a lion, he would wait for evolution for sharper claws or better teeth. However, we hack evolution. And this is one of the reasons why we run the planet. Imagine a person from 1923 and you bring him to 2023. He would be astonished to see a person from his home giving a talk to American people on about entrepreneurship, right? So he would basically consider us as gods. The point is, humans are constantly seeking efficiency, and every time there is a hurdle, there is wealth. Let's say I invent this pill, which removes your spectacles and gives you better vision overnight. I will become an overnight billionaire because I have removed an inefficiency and overcome a hurdle, and hence will unlock wealth. It is easy to understand but harder to apply, always. Let's do that. Let's figure out how we'll apply that. So, I want to ask you, give me an efficiency score out of 10, everybody in the call. Give me an efficiency score out of 10 for the following states. One, calling old taxis, and second, calling an Uber. So, of course, the rough score would be around 3 or 9 and something similar to that. My point is that whenever, whenever the delta is greater than 4, the difference between the numbers is greater than 4, or equal to, it leads to something very, very interesting. And I'm very passionate about this. it leads to irreversible behavior. Anybody who has experienced this Delta service won't go back to the old service. High tolerance will be there. Just because Uber's map is not working, the next day you won't go back to the old state. And the last thing, one of my favorites, is UBP is greater than USP. That is unique brag-worthy proposition. It is every time humans discover something Delta 4, they cannot stop bragging about it. Something similar. Let's talk about, this is a complex one. Let's talk about selling shirts and clothes online. Well, if you take out the average, there is mixed opinion. People, some of them still prefer to buy it offline. However, this leads to reversible behavior. If you experience badly one time and you are not buying it again, there is a very low tolerance and there is no brand worthy proposition. And even concepts like dandruff, let's say 100 years ago, dandruff wasn't a big deal. But now brainwashing has led to it becoming such a big deal in the FMCG sector. And this is how it affects us. So I think that let's take Truecaller, for example. I think how many of you guys would know about Truecaller? About through advertising. Nobody knows Truecaller through advertising. Somebody came up to you and showed you that trick that I can tell you the name of the person by the phone number, and you like voila. So that's a brag-worthy proposition. I share a very intellectual reel on my Instagram to show other people I'm smart, and that becomes a brag-worthy meme, and that is a sellable product. So I think all in all, we should be able to solve problems, and one must understand the low-hanging fruits have already been picked. The value of capitalism is in solving problems. So I think it's better you should don't run behind low-hanging fruits and go for the Delta 4. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.